I did a DNA test, turns out I'm not even related to them, and my story went viral. So, Christmas dinner at our house this year went completely off the rails, and somehow, I became the villain for reading words that weren't even mine. Let me back up. I, 29F, come from a pretty complicated family. We're close in that we see each other a lot, but we are not emotionally close. My mom, 56F, is a queen of backhanded compliments in secret group chats. My older brother, 31M, let's call him Ben, is the golden child who can do no wrong. I'm the black sheep, always too sensitive, moody, or dramatic for the family's taste. Anyway, this Christmas was supposed to be different. After a rough year, I offered to host Christmas at my house. It's small, but I figured a cozy setting would be nice. I cooked, cleaned, decorated, bought thoughtful gifts, I went all out. Everyone showed up, including my mom, dad, Ben, Ben's wife, my younger cousin, and a couple of aunts and uncles. At first, things were going well. Until I left my phone in the kitchen charging and came back to find it in my mom's hand. Apparently, she'd mistaken my phone for hers. Weird, because our phones don't even look alike. Mine's in a bright purple case that says Anti-Anxiety Club, and hers is black with a pop socket. But okay. She looked flustered and quickly gave it back to me. I didn't think much of it, until I noticed I had a bunch of unread texts from her, messages she had sent earlier that day to someone else. She must have forgotten to lock her phone, because in my notifications I saw snippets from a conversation with Ben. And what I saw made my stomach drop. Here are a few gems. Mom, let's just get through dinner. She always makes it about herself anyway. Ben, at least the gifts will suck less this year if she finally spent money. Mom, I had to fake it when I saw her decorations. She tries so hard, it's pathetic. I froze. I felt humiliated, like a joke in my own home. I could have stayed quiet. I almost did. But then I looked around the room and saw everyone laughing, enjoying the food I'd spent hours making, and I snapped. I stood up, held up my phone, and said, "Hey Mom, maybe next year you should keep your messages to yourself, or at least make sure they don't show up on the wrong phone." Everyone went dead silent. I read the messages out loud. Word for word. I didn't add anything. I didn't need to. The words spoke for themselves. Ben tried to interrupt me, and my mom just sat there. No apology. No denial. Just this cold, blank stare, like I had ruined her night, not the other way around. Then the gaslighting began. "I didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting. Why would you humiliate your own mother on Christmas?" Suddenly, I was the bad guy. My aunt told me I should have handled it privately. My dad told me I needed to grow up and not take everything so personally. Even Ben's wife, who's usually cool, gave me a disappointed look and said, "Was that really necessary?" Yes. Yes, it was. I told them all they could leave. I packed up leftover food, handed out containers, and made it very clear the evening was over. I even turned off the lights as they were grabbing their coats. Merry Christmas, right? Edit/update. I've gotten so many messages asking what happened afterward, and wow, I didn't expect this post to blow up the way it did. So, here's the latest. After everyone left, I cried. Not because I regretted what I did, I still don't, but because it hurt. I worked so hard to make that night special, and the people I love most treated it like a punchline. The next day, I got a text from Ben. "You really embarrassed Mom. Hope you're happy." I didn't respond. 2 days later, my mom sent a Facebook message. Yes, a Facebook message, not a call or even a text. It said, "I'm sorry you felt hurt by those messages. It was a private conversation. I think we all need to be more careful moving forward." I left her on read. But here's the wild part. My cousin, the only one who actually defended me that night, sent me screenshots from the family group chat. Apparently, after Christmas, my mom tried spinning the story as OP had a breakdown over a misunderstanding and that I'm bitter and resentful. Well, my cousin wasn't having it. She shared the screenshots of the messages my mom sent to Ben. And guess what? The whole group chat turned on her. Several aunts and uncles called her out. One of my uncles even said, "Honestly, it's about time someone stood up to you. You've been cruel to OP for years." Now my mom is in damage control mode. She's calling around, crying to people, saying I ruined Christmas. But the truth is out, and for once, I didn't get thrown under the bus. If I'm the villain in her story, so be it. But at least now, everyone knows who she really is. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm definitely going low contact for a while, maybe permanently. But I'll say this. Next year, Christmas will be peaceful, because it'll be just me, some wine, and maybe a vacation somewhere warm. Update. my parents are trying to rewrite history after my story went viral. So, yeah. I didn't expect my post to blow up like it did. I wrote it to vent, to process, to feel less alone. But apparently, my story hit a nerve because it got shared. A lot. A few viral reposts later, and suddenly, everyone from my college roommate to my boss's sister has read it. Some even connected the dots and realized it was about me. Which leads me to my parents. Someone, I still don't know who, sent them screenshots. And instead of reaching out to me directly, they did something so on brand it's almost laughable. They posted a Facebook clarification. That's right. A pastel background, paragraph-long post filled with passive-aggressive wisdom and thinly veiled shade. Here's a sample. Raising a child, whether biological or adopted, is an act of love. We chose love every day. While we're heartbroken to see private family matters misrepresented online, we will continue to protect our child's dignity and privacy, even when others will not. They turned it into some Hallmark-style martyrdom moment. They also called extended family and told them I was manipulated by my biological mother. Claimed she got in my head and was feeding me stories. Mind you, I had DNA proof before I even spoke to her. But sure, let's blame the woman who gave birth to me. They even tried to say they were always planning to tell me, but timing never felt right. You know what the right time might have been? Literally any moment before my 20s. But here's where it gets worse. My sister, of course, doubled down and shared their Facebook post with a long caption about honoring the people who raise you. She wrote, "Adoption is love. Anyone trying to shame my parents doesn't know the full story. We don't need outsiders poisoning our family." This is the same sister who never once reached out after the DNA test. Never checked in. Never asked how I was doing. Suddenly now she's the spokeswoman for family values. My brother? Silent. Again. I think he's waiting to see how it all plays out before picking a side. Classic. But I'm not staying quiet. So here's the thing. If they're going to go public with their version of the truth, I'm going to do the same. I posted a simple follow-up on my personal page. Nothing dramatic. Just facts. I didn't know I was adopted. I found out through a DNA test. My parents never told me. Not when I was a kid. Not when I was a teen. Not even when I started asking questions about why I didn't fit. Now that the truth is out, they're playing the victim instead of owning what they did. And then I said this. Love without honesty isn't love. It's control. That one sentence got shared more than anything else I've ever written. People reached out, friends, acquaintances, even strangers, telling me about their own hidden adoptions, long-kept family secrets, stories they were told never to speak of. It made me realize how many people are walking around carrying other people's silence. As for me, I'm still talking to Laura, my bio mom. Slowly, carefully. We're not pretending everything's perfect, but she's been honest since day one. That alone makes her feel more like family than the people who raised me. I haven't blocked my adoptive parents. But I've stopped responding. I don't need to argue with people who only show up when their image is at stake. They say family is forever. But sometimes, truth is stronger than blood, and chosen peace is better than inherited pain. Update, my adoptive mom reached out to my bio mom, behind my back. If you told me a few months ago that my adoptive mom, let's call her Karen, because of course, would secretly contact my biological mother, I would have said absolutely not. She can barely look Laura's name in an email. But here we are. And you won't believe why she reached out. Let me backtrack a second. Ever since I posted about discovering I was adopted, through a DNA test, things have been tense. My adoptive parents basically tried to gaslight the internet with their pastel Facebook post, pretending they always planned to tell me. My sister turned it into a family loyalty crusade. My brother played Switzerland. I've kept some distance. I've been talking to Laura, my bio mom, in small, cautious steps. We've met a few times. She's sweet. Nervous. Real. No pressure, no expectations. Just a quiet kind of care I didn't realize I'd been missing. Until last week. Laura called me out of the blue, voice shaking, and said, "I need to tell you something. I didn't want to hide it, but I also didn't want to upset you." Turns out, my adoptive mom emailed her. And not just once. The emails. Karen found Laura's email address through a cousin of mine who's still trying to keep the peace. She wrote Laura a long, dramatic message that read like a cease and desist crossed with a guilt trip. Here's what Laura shared with me, and yes, she gave me permission. Karen accused her of trying to steal her daughter back. She said I was confused and emotional and easily influenced. She asked Laura to step back permanently for the sake of the family's stability. And then, the kicker, she offered Laura money to respectfully disengage. Yeah. You read that right. She tried to bribe my bio mom to disappear. Laura didn't respond. She just saved the email and waited a few days. She wanted to tell me in person, but I hadn't been feeling well that week, so she finally just called. I felt like my stomach fell out. I'm not even sure what emotion hit me first. Shock? Rage? Sadness? All of it, swirling into one big ugly ache. What I did? I forwarded the email to myself. I read it 3 more times. Then, I called my adoptive mom. I asked her point blank if she reached out to Laura. Dead silence. Then, I did what I thought was best. You're too vulnerable right now to see it. I asked her if she really tried to pay someone to leave my life. Her answer? We gave you a life. She gave you a biology lesson. That one sentence made me hang up. Where we stand now. I've cut contact for now. I need space again. My therapist says I'm finally recognizing the patterns, the control, the emotional manipulation, the rewriting of reality. I used to make excuses for it. Now I see it clearly. Laura apologized for not telling me sooner, even though she had nothing to be sorry for. That woman gave me the truth, something my adoptive parents had every chance to offer, and chose not to. I still don't know where all this leads. But I know this. You don't try to erase someone's identity just because you're scared of losing control. And when you do, don't be surprised when the person you tried to erase starts choosing her own name, her own peace, and her own family.